Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to the debate with Tayyaba Nisar Khan. You're watching the show today with some interesting topics that we're bringing to you today. Some very significant developments that have happened. In the second segment, of course, we're going to talk about that very significant development that had happened as well. But the first segment is going to focus on the political situation that is happening. Very, again, significant, which is the release of all the names that are going to be contesting for the elections in Punjab by PMLN. Of course, we know it's Haqdar Sahab, who is the leader of the PMLN's election cell, has released all of these names on Twitter/X. And all of these names have, of course, there has been a sort of rift between the party as well on some of the names as well, such as Danial Aziz Sahab, who said that he would be going independently in Narowal and contesting independently as well. But there are some very other significant names, such as Rana Sanaullah Sahab himself. He's standing from Faisalabad. And apart from him, there's Chaudhry Abid Ali Sher, who is also standing from Faisalabad. Khurramda Sagir Sahab, who's going to stand from Gujranwala. Of course, we also know that Nankana Sahib, Sheikhupura, Islamabad. Of course, Dr. Faisal Chaudhry is standing from Islamabad, and Anjum Akil Khan is also standing from the Islamabad area. In Rawalpindi, of course, many candidates as well, such as Danial Chaudhry, such as Muhammad Hanif Abbasi, Major Retired Tahir Iqbal, and many others as well. About 130 candidates have been given out. 144 seats of the Punjab in National Assembly are reserved. The quota has been given, and out of that, about 130 have been given. There are talks of seat adjustment as well, and that is why some constituencies are missing, and there's a talk about the seat adjustment, but not just Istiqam-e-Pakistan Party, but also PMLQ, also JUIF, and there has been a certain annoyance by JUIF, in fact, that has been shown, and they're saying that if, of course, PMLN does not give them the seat adjustment that they wish for, then there might be their own power that they would show to them. PMLQ has been looking for at least 4 seats for the National Assembly in Punjab by PMLN, and IPP, it said there were rumors about 11 seats, 7 seats rather, in the National Assembly, but we do not know that yet. Mr. Langrial, who is one of the party members, has also talked about that as well. But of course, this will come out, and many have said that we have not Ms. Maryam Aurangzeb herself denied any decisions regarding the party adjustments yet, and she said that this will come out soon as well. In the second segment, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we talked about the resignation of Justice Syed Mazahar Naqvi, and today there has been another resignation in the Supreme Court by Justice Ijazul Ahsan, who was meant to become the Chief Justice of Pakistan after the current Chief Justice of Pakistan, Qazi Faiz Isa, after about 10 months in October. What was so necessary that right before 10 months, he had to resign? Many are saying that there were rumors about 2 references being filed against him as well, being opened against him as well, and he got a whiff of them and then he decided to resign. But what is exactly the reason? We have our guests in the panel with us today to talk about, of course, all of these issues and more as well. We have been joined by, of course, on my left has been joined Raja Faisal, who is, of course, our current panelist. He is the analyst who joins us every day. Welcome, Raja. We have been also joined by Mr. Naveed Aman Khan, who is also the senior analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Online, we have been joined by Barrister Safi, Ghauri, legal expert. He also joined us yesterday. Thank you so much again for joining us today. And we will be later joined by another guest as well later on in the segment as we go as well. Okay, let's go to Mr. Naveed. We know that the list has been given out by PMLN for the 2024 February 8th election, and it is about 113 names. Many have been missed out, many have not taken well towards that either. But what do you exactly make out of this list, especially the significant highlights and the anomalies that you see?
Tayyaba, Nawaz Sharif, as Supremo of PMLN, has his own temperament and tempo of politics.
Right.
As compared to the other leaders of different political parties like Zardari Sahab of PPP and the PTI former chairman has his own temperament and style.
Right.
The former chairman PTI is very hasty in his decisions, while Nawaz Sharif is slow in his decisions. He makes decisions a bit slow. He takes more time. That is why he decided his candidates as compared to the other parties a bit slow. But what he did, in fact, to Narowal man, Mr. Danial Aziz, he dropped him because of that conflict with Ahsan Iqbal. And I think this is good decision. If you have to choose one of them, he chose Mr. Ahsan Iqbal rather than to choose Mr. Danial Aziz, because Ahsan Iqbal is more weighty politician in the party, and he has his long sacrifices for the party, and he has never been, said electable. He is a part of PMLN, while Danial Aziz has been leaving that party in past. And number two, Chaudhry Jafar Iqbal from Gujarat, he is dropped, and he is not given that seat. That is again a good decision, I think. One thing which is very important for PMLN is the contest between more than one candidates in one constituency, like the former Speaker National Assembly, Mr. Sadiq from Lahore, and the political rival, Mr. Ruhail Asgar, they are from the same constituency. But I think Ruhail Asgar should be given, should have been given that seat, because politically he is more sound than Mr. Sadiq. Sadiq will be accommodated in either by elections, or he will be accommodated in Senate.
Okay.
So in Bahawalpur, the constituency 168. One thing which is, I think, I have a very important concern for myself is seat adjustment. Seat adjustment, I don't appreciate seat adjustment formula, because it is pre-poll rigging. When you formulate that this seat is for you and this seat is for me, what is the role of then the voter in the constituency? If you decide the seats in the drawing room, it is termed as pre-poll rigging, or a pre-poll arrangement. That Mr. Cheema, Tariq Bashir Cheema, is being adjusted there, and is being given assurance by PMLN that this seat, we will give this seat to you. And his opponent in that constituency 168 is the strong candidate is Mr. Ahmad Hussain Madani. He is from People's Party, but he is a strong candidate, and Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Yusuf Raza Gilani, and Mukhtum Ahmad Mahmood, they are going to hold a very, very big procession in Bahawalpur in his favor on January 13. So he will, Mr. Cheema will be having very tough time from Mr. Madani.
Right, very, very interesting. Also in this, we will talk about the seat adjustment as well in the future, but let's talk about this current list that has been given out, 130 candidates that have been given out. Do you see more electables, or do you see more new faces as well in this current list?
Electables are there in the party. I think Mr. Nawaz Sharif, he has been opposing electables in past. But whenever elections are announced, different politicians, they welcome all the electables, because all the politicians or the party leaders, they need electables, and they don't want to lose those seats which are very confirmed with the electables. The electables are very strong in their own constituencies, whether they are in PTI, or they are in People's Party, or they are in PMLN, or even if they are independent. If they go in the constituency as an independent position, they win the seats. So electables are very strong in their constituencies. That is why they are weakness of every political party or every party leader. And now PMLN, they don't want to lose those electables, because they need more numbers to be comfortable in in National Assembly as well as in Punjab Provincial Assembly. So they have decided to to grab those electables once again. And it makes the electables as hot cake for the elections.
Right, they are a hot cake for the elections. Now, Faisal, I'm going to ask you a very significant question, which maybe many people have not thought about, but there are only 5 women in the out of 130, the list of 130 people that has been given out, the candidates that has been given out. And do you see many youth and minorities? And maybe was there a possibility of adding more women in this list?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent question. When we talk about the women empowerment, the very institution that would ensure in coming future that the women empowerment is always up and running in this country, and of course it is promoted in coming future, then of course this is a sort of aspect which political parties, they must think about and must be working on it, especially the seats which are the sort of sure seats for them to win. They must promote more women to come and of course contest the elections, especially Tayyaba. When we talk about the urban areas of Pakistan, I mean, now it's not considered as taboo to be contesting an election. Areas like Lahore, areas like Faisalabad or Rawalpindi, or in other cities of Pakistan out of Punjab, of course Karachi, when we talk about Hyderabad, Islamabad, Peshawar, Quetta, all of these cities, I want to see more and more women coming forward and contesting elections from the urban sides. When it comes to the rural areas of course Punjab and overall Pakistan, still I think the campaigning for the election, the door-to-door campaign for the election, and sort of getting in touch with the people, it is a hectic game which is considered in Pakistan's politics, sadly. And to reach out to the voter, of course for men it's more easier than the females. So female candidates over there, of course they lack that, or the only female candidates we see are actually from within the families that has a long history of politics, and that is why we are seeing that the names which are being given from PMLN, the women we are talking about, they actually hail from the regional political families, and it is more easier for them and for their family members to reach out to people for asking for the votes for their female candidate.
Faisal, what about minorities and youth?
Yeah, minorities and youth. See, that is a question which, especially when it comes to youth, I mean, I was expecting that people like, my very good friend Rana Ehsan Afzal, he would be considered for a ticket. So far, of course, he wasn't considered. When we talk about people like, Ata Tarar, and people like Talal Chaudhary, they have been pivotal when it came to PMLN was going through a bad phase, bad political phase. There they were more vocal, they were seen everywhere fighting for the party, and at the time when it was a matter of getting their nominations through and getting the ticket, the party ticket, they were not awarded. I can really understand that in coming future, of course, once the parliament, PMLN is coming to the parliament, and if they come into power, of course they will be facilitating these people in coming future. But of course I would have been seeing them fighting for their seats and contesting elections rather than just sitting back and waiting for the time to just rule over people, because these are sort of people that should be considered as an asset for any political party. And I think that is somewhere which is lacking in PMLN, especially when this list came out. I saw this and it was not heartening to see that. And if we talk about the minorities, yes, I agree with you. But to be honest, I mean, there are certain parties like People's Party. I mean, it came with the names, especially there is one seat in Bonaire. There is this candidate. She is Hindu, and a female Hindu doctor, who is actually contesting the election rather than just sitting back and waiting for her name to be appearing on the list for the female special seats. No, she is fighting the election and she is going door to door. And I think this is how it should be. People's Party has set a good precedent. Initially, we saw that these sort of steps they used to take only in the Sindh province and not rest of the country. But taking such a step in a province like KPK, where female contesting election is itself considered as a taboo, I mean, forget about that. Somewhere in some constituencies, female voting is considered as a taboo, and that is why both sides or all of the sides contesting, they actually agree with each other that, none of the women are allowed to go for the votes.
Right.
But seriously, these things, they must be looked into, and these are aspects which not one party, every party should be following.
Right.
Tayyaba, one thing is very important in this regard. I will supplicate Faisal regarding the women position in the society or in the political parties. Not only the women are very important for PMLN or People's Party or PTI or any other party, they are very important for the religious parties as well.
Yeah.
For JUI or JI or all the religious parties should also give opportunity, equal opportunity to the women to become the parliamentarians in the provincial or in the national assemblies. Number one. Number two is this, that you were referring to Talal, Mr. Talal. Talal is very strong candidate in his constituency. Yes, he is a very, very loyal companion of PMLN and Nawaz Sharif as well. Yes, there is no doubt in his constituency and his position in his city. But one thing is very important: if he is being taken aside, it doesn't mean that the PMLN Supremo is ignoring him. He will adjust him definitely, because he doesn't want to lose that seat, and he wants to accommodate Mr. Wasir there. Sher Wasir will be accommodated and he will be happy. Talal Chaudhary will be accommodated from the same seat, and he will again be the part of the National Assembly or the Senate, and he is never been ignored by the party. Number two, as far as Ayaz Sadiq and Rohel Asgar's seat is concerned, in that seat both candidates are very strong and cannot be ignored at all.
Yeah.
So if Rohel Asgar is given that chance for to become parliamentarian from his constituency, he will be given chance and he definitely will win that seat. But Ayaz Sadiq will not be ignored. He will again be given opportunity and he will be brought in the assembly, because I think without him the assembly will be incomplete as far as PMLN approach is concerned.
Right.
But PMLN is not very serious about Dania Aziz because of that, the way he retaliated, the way he exposed himself just before the elections, and he started blaming PMLN or the PMLN Secretary General, Hassan Iqbal, or the way he,
we'll talk about it in later phase.
Right. Yeah. Let's go to Barrister Saif as well. Let's go to Barrister Safiullah. Of course, there's been a talk about seat adjustment between PMLN with IPP, with PMLQ, with JUIF, and of course there has been a talk not just in Punjab but also in Sindh with MQM, etc. What is the legality of the seat adjustment formula? Naveed Aman Sahab was saying that this is not a very righteous way to go about it. What, in your opinion, is the legality of the seat adjustment?
Thank you, Tayyaba, for your question. Once again, when it comes to the legality of these things, it's very difficult to prove seat adjustment. If proven, there is obviously a case to be made, because under Article 17, the right of the people has been deprived. Clearly, the people are the ones who have the right to choose. Political parties cannot sit amongst themselves and decide who is going to win a particular seat or not. So on that end, I will agree with him. However, it's next to impossible to prove this. Nobody will step forward. There are hardly any cases where people have themselves admitted that they have fixed seats together. we know it happens, but unfortunately the evidentiary requirement for it is such that it can never be brought to the court. But I will, however, comment on the kind of seats that have been given, and I will express that I am tremendously disappointed with them, because all I see is those old faces. There are no party workers, none of the educated people. Faisal was very apt when he pointed out that some of the best people within PMLN, people who have been consistently defending PMLN on the television, people who have been coming on your show, on shows that we have seen countless times. And these are the well-spoken, educated people of PMLN. They have been sidelined. Instead, uneducated, illiterate criminals have been brought forward. And there are many, many examples of those people. So, for instance, in PB19, Haji Pervez, who was removed by Nawaz Sharif himself for having a fake degree. Nawaz Sharif was embarrassed of him, and he said that because of the embarrassment that he has suffered of his for his fake degree, he's removing him from his position as an MNA. He has now been given a ticket. The father-in-law of Farah Gogi, who has been opposed to PMLN, Chaudhry Mohammad Iqbal, has been given a ticket. Malik Ahmed Saeed, who was involved in the Qasur child sex scandal. It's shocking to say that somebody who was involved and named by the court in such a heinous crime has been given a ticket. And we see that in PB11, for instance, people who were responsible for giving bribes to Mazahar Naqvi's sons. The whole case, the reference against Mazahar Naqvi was the assets of his children. The very man who was responsible for giving those assets to his children, has been given a ticket in PB11. All I see, unfortunately, is same old status quo people that we have seen in the past who have wrecked Pakistan, and then also a host of other criminals. Also, I would like to add here that there are a lot of former PTI members who have been given tickets. Many people who switched seats from PTI and came to PMLN have been given tickets. This is just bad for the party itself. What about the workers of the party who were constantly out on the streets, who were getting shelled, who were getting jailed during PTI's time? Why have they been ignored? Were they not active participants in trying to bring PMLN forward? And is that the kind of response that they deserve? So I think at the end of the day, when it comes to the legality of things, it's unfortunate that our political system is such that it gives the supreme leader such overarching powers that take no regard of what morality is, what legality is. People who are, who have been involved in the most heinous crimes in Pakistan can just be given tickets by anyone, and that's tragic, to be honest. I feel like this is what really reflects on what our problem is. We were expecting a change this time around. I was hoping that PMLN would have learned a lesson. They have been ousted. They could have come back, offered a better program. They still have not given us a manifesto. And when they finally give us their list of candidates, it's the same ones that we know have not been good for Pakistan to begin with.
Barrister Safi, you have rightly pointed out one of the aspects which was related to, of course, seat adjustments, especially when it comes to IPP. Seat adjustments with the IPP and with the PMLQ and a few of the other players. They are the very players who were mentioned and highlighted almost 18 months ago when the government was formed by obviously PDM led by PMLN at that time. So don't you think that these sort of people, when they are seat adjusted, especially people like Chaudhry Sarwar, who's been very vocal against the PMLN leadership at that time, and of course related to Panama cases, and then the way his treatment was given to him, and the decisions which were taken by the Supreme Court at that time. Don't you think that these sort of seat adjustments, they are going to be pivotal in terms of when people will be highlighting allegations against the party itself, that it was heavily relying on the other parties to oust the previous Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister Imran Khan?
Absolutely, Faisal. Like I was just listening, and I heard our guest here say that Daniel Aziz was not given a ticket because he spoke out against party leadership. Well, then why are all those other PTI leaders being given tickets? who have actively opposed and have been instrumental in putting PMLN leaders in jail, who have celebrated every aspect of PMLN leaders getting either victimized or in any manner being prosecuted or persecuted by the courts. Why are they then being dealt with? Why are they trying to adjust seats with them? Why are they trying to enter into different sorts of negotiations with them? So at the end of the day, if this is all about grabbing power and not about serving anything to the people and to your own party workers, then PMLN is a perfect poster child for this right now. That's what's sad. Until
Barrister Safi, very quickly, you know, when it comes to the previous 15-month government, PDM government led by PMLN, why is it that the onus of all of these, sort of settlements with the other seat adjustments with the other parties, it is only on PMLN? I mean, we have seen People's Party is not doing any seat adjustments. I mean, they were the key players as well. They had many ministries as well, and one of the key ministries, of course, Bilawal Bhutto himself, he was foreign minister at that time. Why the onus of the whole government and the seat adjustments is only on PMLN, and they are obviously facing these questions?
I think the reason here might be the perception at this point of time. There is an ongoing perception that has been created by PMLN and by a host of other parties that PMLN is the chosen party, the favored party this time around. And this is a grapevine that's going around. I think it is this perception that is constantly feeding into the loop of decision making, and that is something that the PMLN seems to have resorted to. And also I would want to add here that PMLN this time around once again has given all the party tickets to all of their relatives, once again keeping in mind the same old Baradari system that we've had in Pakistan. This is, and I agree with you. Why is this onus there? I don't know. I can only say it's because they're perceived to be the most popular choice, perceived to be the probable winners, and that is why they are the ones who are being asked to adjust more than anyone else.
Right.
One liner. I just wanted to add, you know, in my own constituency, obviously my constituency is in district Gujarat. I mean, there is one of the candidates, Raja Aslam. I mean, he was obviously bidding for ticket, PMLN's ticket, but he was not awarded ticket. He is someone who's been, you know, of course, fighting for PMLN in the constituency while he was not even, the member of the parliament, and he has faced a lot. And I personally know, because I personally know him, and the kind of brunt he's gone through, I know it. But at the same time, during the COVID, he's been helping out people so much, and he actually brightened the name of PMLN in the constituency. But when he came to, taking the ticket, he was not given the ticket, and the person who had a habit of coming back into party and leaving the party and then coming back to party, I'm talking about Malik Hanif. He is someone who's been leaving and coming back, he was given the ticket. So this is quite
right. Faisal is bringing out and advocating.
One thing is very important. I tell you that the seat is given, or the ticket is given to any candidate who has votes in his or her pocket, not loyalty. Loyalty doesn't matter as far as the votes are concerned. Those who have more votes within themselves are given tickets. And those who are loyal.
But isn't that a self-destructive sort of mechanism?
It is. You are absolutely right. And one thing which is very important as far as the seat adjustment is concerned, or the adjustment of the former PTI members is concerned, it shows the party is in some constituencies is weak and doesn't have that strong candidate within themselves or within their party who should go in the public and grab those votes. That is why Talal Chaudhry's issue and the seat adjustment of Bahawalpur and many seat adjustments in different constituencies has come out. It shows that PMLN hasn't very strong, their loyal candidate, one candidate who also have very strong vote bank. So the vote bank, it shows was not within the PMLN. That vote bank was very strong with those candidates who have come from other parties like PTI. That is why it shows that those constituencies are strong in PTI.
Right, but Naveed Saab, many people are saying and speculating that they aren't being offered the better seats and the better constituencies, and that is why there has been a rift, for instance, between JUIF and PMLN. So what do you say about that?
In fact, the political leaders or the Supremo doesn't want to. We are talking about PMLN. Nawaz Sharif, he doesn't want to lose those candidates who have joined from PTI.
Right.
And they are very strong in their constituencies.
Right.
Because he believes that if he has not given a seat to them or ticket to them, they might go to back to PTI or to any other party. Because he knows that the candidate is having strong vote bank in his constituency.
But Naveed Saab, if they can leave PTI in power, then how sure you are about they will not leave PMLN?
Definitely, they will leave PMLN when any other door is opened for them.
But that's what he's saying, that
then why
they're
going
the ones
for
with the
so
votes.
unreliable candidates?
Just for
The votes.
At this stage they need vote. The vote in the National Assembly or in Punjab Assembly. Once they have that government in their hand, they will be in a stronger position. And now at this stage, if they are accepting those who has left PTI and joined PMLN just to teach lesson to the former PTI leader who is in jail.
Right. The list has come out for the 2024 elections from all the constituencies. About 130 candidates have been given out. Naveed Saab is saying it's because of the votes. It's because they're electables. The Barrister Safiullah has been saying that it is because they, of course, are electables, and despite the fact that many of them, according to him, are criminals as well, such as the child case in Kasur as well, etc., etc. So this is something very significant to ponder upon as well. We need to bring new faces. We need to bring people who are actually working for the betterment of the society rather than going for the electables, despite the fact that they may bring the vote. But what at the end matters is the significant development of Pakistan and bringing Pakistan to the limelight of development, ensuring that there is some social justice and social uplift as well. But let's go on our second segment now. Another very important development, another very significant development. Yesterday we were talking, Barrister Safiullah, we were talking about how Justice Naqvi had resigned and his resignation has been approved by the President as well today. And now today, Justice Ijazul Ahsan, who was meant to become the Chief Justice of Pakistan after 10 months in October, has resigned as well. Many people are saying that he should have stayed because there were allegations against Chief Justice Qazi Faiz Isa as well, and he stayed and he also fought against them. What was the reason? What was the urgency? Why has it come at this point in time?
This is a very interesting question. Thank you for having me. And I think when this news came out, I wasn't all that surprised. We discussed him yesterday as well, if you recall, when we were having our show, and we discussed how Justice Mazahar Naqvi was actually being favored by Justice Ijazul Ahsan. And Justice Ijazul Ahsan was saying that the case against Justice Mazahar Naqvi was fake, frivolous, and should not be proceeded against. And I said that when Justice Mazahar Naqvi is leaving, he is actually doing a disservice to his own supporters like Justice Ijazul Ahsan, because Justice Ijazul Ahsan will then be left alone. And that is exactly what has happened. Now, what we see happening within the courts, and once again, I would want to tread with a lot of caution, but it has, as far as the grapevine goes, it has become increasingly obvious that there is some sort of a grouping within the courts. And there was one particular pro-PTI gang within the courts, which comprised the former Chief Justice Umar Ata Bandial, there was Justice Ijazul Ahsan, Justice Muneeb, who many are saying might resign now, Justice Mazahar Naqvi, and also to a degree Justice Aisha Malik. Once again, we don't know if Justice Muneeb and Justice Aisha Malik will resign or not, but these were the people who were consistently giving relief to PTI in every single case. They are the ones who held Nawaz Sharif accountable in the Panama Leaks case. Justice Ijazul Ahsan was instrumental in that case. This is the same judge who also tried to give PTI an edge when there was elections in Punjab. He's the same judge who used 63A in PTI's favor when there was a vote counting issue. And it's very obvious and very clear that he had a pro PTI tint in every single case which PTI has benefited from. Justice Ijazul Ahsan was a judge. So there's not much to suggest that Justice Ijazul Ahsan was, of course, not pro PTI ideologically, which is unbecoming of a judge. Now, the fact that he has resigned is possibly because of two reasons. Firstly, because of the upcoming references against him. There is a very important reference in a very damning case of the Hyatt Regency apartment building, in which he was the lawyer. He was a lawyer in that case, and then after he became a judge, he then adjudicated upon the same case, which is completely illegal in law. It is to be a judge in your own case it's a very basic maxim of law. One of the first things that law students study is no man can be a judge in his own case. Obviously, they cannot. And yet he was a judge. He not only was a judge, he also gave relief to Hyatt Regency in that case. He, even in his judgment, he extended the original permit of Hyatt Regency, which was a 4-story building, to a 14-story building. So I've seen the reference against him. It seems that it is a solid reference. There's all the evidence attached of him being a lawyer and then him being a judge in that case, which is very damning once again. But the urgency, I don't understand myself as well. I don't. They were 10 months ago.
I can understand because it is win-win situation for PMLN Supremo Nawaz Sharif. It shows that Justice Ijazul Ahsan and Mazahar Naqvi, they were wrong in those decisions which they took to oust him from the power, and which were engineered in the past against PMLN Supremo. It is a big blow to PTI former chairman. I mean, because he has lost the support of Ijazul Ahsan and Mazahar Naqvi now in the courts. Number next is this, that Mr. Ijazul Ahsan, he was also expecting that reference against him as was being done in Mazahar Naqvi case. So he better decided to quit. Because he just perceived that he will be disgracefully kicked out of that position sooner or later. So he just decided to quit to save those perks and privileges which the justices are enjoying. One thing is very important. Just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. One thing is very important. The privileges, the perks which they will continue to enjoy should not be given to them because they are, it is proved that they were mellified and they are not going to face as Mr. Justice Faisal Issa faced that.
Right, that's actually, Naveed Sahab, that's actually the second question that I was about to ask from Barrister Safiullah. Yeah. So is it fair if the judges resign before their judicial council references have been resolved and their decisions, the decisions by the judicial council has been taken, and if, for instance, against Justice Ijazul Ahsan, there was a reference that was coming up, according to what journalist Hamid Mir had stated as well, and he got a whiff of it, of 2 references in fact. Do you think it's fair for the judicial system of Pakistan?
No, I don't think that. I would like to just dovetail this, and this is exactly why I was asking for an elucidation here. Justice Mansoor, in his various judgments, has elaborated on this, and once again, those judgments are now being once again raised. The judgments state that no person can escape the writ of the law simply by resigning or by leaving a position. And this was said in the case of a general. So, for instance, if a general is accused of corruption, it's not like if he quickly resigns, then he gets his benefits and then gets everything. This is the same case in same for the judges, for the bureaucrats, for the politicians, for former prime ministers, whoever it may be. There is at least settled case law within Pakistan. Now the fact that this will once again come to the court and be decided by the court, and Justice Mansoor is of course the next Chief Justice now. We already have his judgments in the field, so I don't think that is going to be necessarily an issue. What I do, however, want to say, and this is something that I say once again with a lot of responsibility, this is during my conversations with a lot of people, and one of the most common things that we discuss is that if PTI were to, let's say, hypothetically, come into power, it coming into power would be a bad idea for it anyways, because at this moment PTI has managed to antagonize every state institution within Pakistan. The military does not like them, the bureaucracy does not like them, and the judiciary does not like them. However, PTI supporters always used to uphold Justice Ijazul Ahsan as the one person who, when he becomes a Chief Justice, would be on the same page as PTI. And this was very commonly a statement given that Justice Ijazul Ahsan is pro-PTI. He will be the Chief Justice in 10 months. Now, if PTI comes into power within 10 months, then the judiciary and the parliament will be on the same page, and that's good enough. Now, Justice Ijazul Ahsan leaving and us knowing that there is no overtly pro-PTI judge within the Supreme Court of Pakistan, at least for the next couple of years, is a death blow to PTI. Because now we know for a fact that if PTI were to hypothetically come into power, then they will have no support from the judiciary, no support from the military, and no support from the bureaucracy, and they would be the one party that is going to, in that case, be very detrimental to the overall functioning of Pakistan. I speak now as a Pakistani. I don't speak as a supporter of any one political party. As a Pakistani, I would like to see institutions working together rather than fighting each other. And that is why I think that any rational voter should now take into account that even PTI winning is going to be very damaging for the country.
Barrister Safi, that's an excellent point which you have highlighted, but I have a counter question to it. In an ideal situation, what should matter in a democracy? The only people, I must say. If people want to, of course, elect the former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his party, and they want them to come to Constitution Avenue, I am saying once more, the Constitution Avenue, and taking up the premier office of the country, don't you think that they will be in a position to impose the will of the majority of the people on Constitution Avenue so that the country can get back on track? And another thing I wanted to highlight here, as in geopolitics we say, you know, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Can we apply similar kind of sentence on the judges who've been, resigning, putting resignation? For one party, they might be something else. For the other party, they will be, of course, something else. And people at large, of course, they will be thinking about them from different aspects as well.
Of course. Faisal Saab, regarding the first question, so of course, if the people decide that they want to elect PTI, their will is supreme, and if they decide to do so, it's their decision. What my point is that people are also smart. People will also now realize that PTI has no support within any other quarters. Do they really want a person to come into power who they know is going to have problems left, right, and center from all institutions? Is that really what the people want, or do they want at least a degree of harmony within the country? Now, this is a decision that the people have to make. Do the people want absolute strife and war, or do the people want good functioning, good governance, all of these things, yada yada? As far as the issue of differing views on an individual is concerned, of course, everybody has different opinions. For a lot of people, Mazahar Naqvi is a hero. For them, for others, he's a criminal. We see the same thing play out in Israel and Gaza. Some people think Israelis are doing just right. Others are thinking they are terrorists. Some people think RSS is the best thing ever. Others think RSS are terrorists. There is always a divergence of opinion, and that divergence of opinion should be respected. That is the very spirit of democracy. However, when I analyze things, I would like to think of things in terms of the overall harmony and the overall functioning of the state of Pakistan. And now it's becoming very obvious that PTI, even if it is coming with the best intentions, will simply not be able to perform, because everywhere around PTI, they will have antagonistic institutions which do not support its functions. And without those institutions, you cannot take the country forward. Even if the supreme institution is the parliament, the side supporting organizations, the Supreme Court, the Election Commission, the military, the bureaucracy, the chief secretary, the provinces, all of these things are also imperative, and that's what the real name of democracy is. Right. You have to carry everyone.
Tayyaba,
shortly,
one thing is, important at this stage. That is, a judge is a judge. Judiciary doesn't allow any judge to be pro-PTI or People's Party or PMLN or any party. If one judge supports any party, he's not a judge. He's a party now. He's a politician. So judge cannot be a politician when he or she is in the seat of a judge. So those judges who has resigned, they have been, everybody knows that they have been pro-PTI judges. And what decisions they took, now their resignation tells the whole of the story. Judiciary should be pure as a justice institution. So in lower judiciary or in the highest level of judiciary, the judges should not be biased or should not be party to any party.
Right.
Just
short comments.
Yeah, very short comment. Just I would like to, I would beg to differ. When it comes to the judges, of course, if I see these judges and of course the previous, the former Chief Justice,
I'm talking about all the judges.
I mean, all of these judges, if we see or if we go through the very recent, I mean, I would say 2 years of track record of their decisions, I mean, many of their decisions, they actually came against the PTI and against the Imran Khan at the same time.
Like quote, one or two decisions?
Yeah, one or two decisions. I would highlight one of the decisions on the night when Prime Minister Imran Khan was actually sent home. I remember I was at Supreme Court. The decision actually came against PTI at that time. That is why we saw that the Parliament was actually given a go-ahead to, of course, go for the next Prime Minister, which is...
and give two examples against PMLN Supremo as well.
PMLN Supremo. I mean, there are...
gentlemen, we have run out of time. We will give more examples and we will, of course, share them
of course,
informally as well. But thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, our panelist, Barrister Safi. Thank you so much, Mr. Naveed. Thank you so much, Raja Faisal, for joining us in the panel discussion today. Thank you so much to our audience for joining us for this discussion today as well. Of course, at a time when the elections on February the 8th are just around the corner, there has been more action in the Supreme Court rather than on the election and political front. And I hope that there's more action on the political front in the next about 20 days. And let's see what happens during the election time. And let's hope that everything's secure for Pakistan as well during that time. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us again tomorrow for the debate.